All right, some news here on the VA front. The House approved legislation unanimously allowing vets who are facing long waits at the VA facilities to get VA paid treatment, but from local doctors. As I said, with a 421-0 vote here, Congress voting in response to the controversy surrounding the backlogs and the falsified information surrounding patient information, especially most famously seen in some of those Arizona VA facilities. Now, the VA audit released on Monday showed 57,000 vets have been waiting to see a doctor for more than 3 months. And schedulers at 90 clinics across the U.S. say they've made it seem as though vets were getting fast access to medical care when they weren't. They falsified the records. Now, a group of 21 senators, both Democrats and Republicans, they're calling not just for the investigation, but they want criminal investigations into the medical care delays. Sending a letter to the AG, Eric Holder, saying evidence of secret waiting times, falsified records, destruction of documents, and other potential criminal wrongdoing has appalled and angered the nation and imperiled trust and confidence in the Veteran Health Administration. Senator Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut is one of the senators pushing for criminal probes here, and I spoke with him about that audit and other things earlier today. On the VA front, do you believe that to get to the bottom of this, we need to bring in the Department of Justice? And do you really think that from what you've seen, some of the mistakes have reached to the level here of criminality?
The best and credible information shows there has been criminal wrongdoing. And I'm reaching or jumping to no conclusions, but we certainly need the Department of Justice because only the FBI and federal prosecutors have the authority, expertise, and resources to match and address the growing scope and scale of allegations, criminal allegations, against VA bureaucrats who apparently cooked the books and then covered it up, falsified records, destroyed documents, and prepared these fraudulent, false waiting lists that mask their inability to meet deadlines and to provide service on time as veterans deserve. I've favored an Accountability Act that enables easier firing of incompetent or corrupt bureaucrats. I also want the Department of Justice to complete a prompt, effective investigation. It has to be comprehensive. Only Department of Justice has the resources, authority, and expertise to do it right.
You know, one of your colleagues said that it's reached the level of a national disgrace. Is that fairly put?
The VA's failure to provide good health care to people on time, to our nation's heroes, our veterans who have served and sacrificed for us, is a national disgrace and shame. And therefore, we need to meet it with strong, effective action. The bill now pending before the Senate, which I have co-sponsored, helped to draft, I think provides a good beginning.
You know, Senator, I can never figure out why this is such an ongoing problem. This was before Afghanistan and Iraq. Obviously, it's been exacerbated by the influx of new veterans. But, I mean, I've covered this story from a regional basis, and VA hospitals have struggled with this too. Everybody loves the soldier, or at least they say the right words. Is this a bigger problem? Is it the funding, or is it the bureaucracy, or can you put your finger why this has been such a persistent problem that we just can't seem to get right nationally, at least on the macro level?
I listen to a lot of veterans, and I listen carefully because I'm on the Veterans Affairs Committee. 2 of my sons have served, 1 is serving now, and I hear a lot of complaints, not about the quality of medical care, but about the delays. In effect, the VA bureaucracy lied to the Secretary of the VA, Eric Shinseki, and to the American people. And that has to be punished criminally if it occurred, and that's why the Department of Justice has to investigate. But the real challenge is to provide both money and management, more money and better management. The two have to come together.
Let me ask you about another issue you've been invested in, and that is sexual assaults, both in the military but also on college campuses. Tell us what we can practically expect beyond all the words and all the promises that we've heard here from some on the collegiate level and some in Washington. Are we close to some real tangible yardsticks that we're going to be able to measure these schools by and not have the same old story next year when a bunch of new other freshmen are dropped off on college campuses?
I believe that my colleagues and I for example, Senator Gillibrand of New York, Senator McCaskill of Missouri, can form a real effective team to propose legislation within the next few months and have it considered on the floor. Not that there's any magic solution or panacea. Colleges and universities have to be committed, the culture has to change, and people have to be effective on campuses, not only in the administration, but also among the student body to intervene. Bystander intervention is critical when there is a tragedy about to unfold.
Not long ago, Senator, I sat down with a conversation with one of the Newtown fathers who lost his child, one of the 20 children who died obviously on that awful day at the Sandy Hook Elementary School. And there was dedication of a playground in his son's name. And it struck me that for all the dialogue we had, yes, there has been on some state levels some tangible changes, Connecticut and New York among them, but nationally we've made zero progress really as it relates to background checks. Do you have any sense here that in your lifetime in Washington that this will ever change? Or we're going to just have more tragedies, you think, and we're going to have the same conversation resulting, at least at the federal level, in little if any change?
The failure to take action is shameful and disgraceful. And I believe that the Senate soon will be complicit in some of these horrific, chilling, and repeated occurrences of gun violence. And I believe strongly that we have an obligation to act. I hope we will. And every death as a result of gun violence, one by one, or the mass slayings, reminds us that our obligation in the Senate is unfulfilled. I hope to bring back background checks, ban on illegal trafficking, straw purchases, common sense measures, most particularly a mental health initiative. Because in every one of these incidents of mass slayings, somebody with mental health issues is involved, and we need to address that problem.
Well, I wish you the best of luck on that, Senator. Thank you very much for a few minutes.
Thank you.
When we come back, everyone, we're going to turn our eyes closer to home and specifically New York. Working Families Party backing off of State Senator Jeff Klein right after they got behind Governor Cuomo, even if they held their nose while they were doing it. We're going to talk about that and more after this.